Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so the markets have somehow they've normalized. Yesterday we were waiting for the US session to open in order to trade the stock market of the New York Stock Exchange. All those companies, Apple, Microsoft, and all the rest, they hadn't yet opened by yesterday's program. But we looked at the indices charts, the index charts, and they could give you, they could give you a feel of what was going to happen when the US Stock Exchange finally opened. And that's exactly what happened. The charts were not so down below. They were, that somehow that started rising. Somehow, where they started rising for some time. And by the time the market actually opened, they were quite, they were not so down as they would have been. But sometimes you don't see that market because it hasn't yet opened, but the candlesticks are always there. That's why you find gaps so many times between the session close and the session open. Yeah, so for the New York Stock Exchange, for the US sessions, when it opened yesterday, that gap you saw, it came from much lower with all those other index charts. And by the time the sessions opened, the market was somehow, it had somehow reached a good area. I think we opened some trades. Measuring these index charts to see which ones are the most profitable. And we ended up with 4 charts. We ended up with the German 40, the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones, and we shall look for the other one and see how they have performed since yesterday when we opened those trades. So one thing you need to always keep in mind is that some charts are more profitable than others. You don't need to hardline on one particular type of chart. If you find it easy, or if you're someone who needs profit very fast, then you need to practice on a highly profitable chart so that you make some good profit in a short period of time. But if you do your analysis and you're very patient and you know your charts very well, then these Forex charts that are normally there, the GBP, USD, USD, JPY, they can give you some good profit in a longer period of time. You might not need to really stake too much, but if you're patient, or you realize that every 3 months, every time you start trading, if you're consistent for 3 months, it's always a very good figure that you get there. If you're very consistent every day, or even every week, the 3rd month, the 3rd and 4th month are normally very good. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Today there's quite a number of events that we can take a look at and see how they're going to impact the market. The war in Russia and Ukraine, it's still ongoing. It hasn't yet stopped. Sanctions are being put on Russia, and the markets are somehow finding their point of equilibrium with this crisis. It's no longer something that is abrupt. That's abruptly hitting these markets. So they're finding their area of equilibrium, and sometimes you learn to live with a certain and present danger. There we live with COVID. It's now part of us, and we live with it. It's no longer a headline these days. So that's what's happening with these markets. They have found a point of equilibrium where you can actually do some analysis and find you find some areas for your technical analysis. These gaps have started disappearing. It's now going back to normal. So many charts have opened. Here. We have the Euro USD. You'll see some areas of significance that we had previously marked out, and you'll see how important, how they're dealing with this market. So you'll see that the market, even if we're in some very huge fundamental times, the market is actually flowing in a very nice way. It is respecting all the areas of resistance and support. It's not moving past some areas. It's not moving above other areas. It's quite good how this market respects certain areas of price. The price action. Okay, I'm trying to get you this economic calendar so that we take a look. Okay, Yeah, so I think it's loading up now. Have the Euro USD loaded in. We shall do some analysis there. We have the Euro versus the New Zealand dollar from the last time we looked at it. It has really been bearish, obviously with a lot of force coming from these. There's a lot of force coming from what's happening in Ukraine, pushing the Euro downwards in almost every other chart. So this could have been, predetermined before, but the market movement has just been rushed by this event. Okay, so I think we are now fully set. You can just give it a few moments and okay, so the economic calendar is now loaded. We can take a look at it. In about 17 minutes, we have some events that are affecting the GBP. Yeah, so we have consumer credit, we have M4 money supply, and that is month on month. Yeah, then there's the market manufacturing PMI. So most of these events are low impact events. And the very first high impact event today is the speech. This speech has been really recurring for some time. This speech from the European Central Bank President, Christine Lagarde, the French European Bank President. So there will be another speech today at 4 p.m. that will be affecting Europe. Then at the same time, there will be the harmonized index of consumer prices. This is year over year, affecting the euro as well. This one is exclusively from Germany, but it's going to affect Europe as a whole. So for this event here, the previous figure was 5.1%. The expected figure is 5.4%. Yeah, so it looks, it looks positive for the euro. It's a high impact event. Then the other events there is a harmonized index of consumer prices, which is month over month. Then there is consumer price index rising from 4.9% to 5.1%. That is year over year. And month over month, the previous figure is 0.4%, and the consensus is 0.9%. Yeah, so those ones are at, they're at 4:30. Yeah, those ones at 4 p.m. Affecting the euro, together with a speech. So as you get the market impact exactly at 4 from this event, this one here is statistics. So these figures will come out instantly at 4 p.m. This speech, we'll give it some time, a few more minutes to get the market impact. So that will probably bring some kind of a surge in the price, a spike, either upwards or downwards. These speeches, they're very unpredictable. Then at 4:30, affecting the Canadian dollar, there is a GDP, the gross domestic product, month over month. We're looking at a reduction from 0.6% to 0.1%. Yeah, so this one here is bad for the Canadian dollar, medium impact event. But then the gross domestic product annualized, this one is quite it's good. It has a good outlook. So the previous year is 5.4%, and the expected figure is 6.2%. Yeah, so that figure, it shows you that this one here is an increase. It is a positive for the Canadian dollar. And yes, that will be at 4:30 of our time, East African time. Then at 5:30, there will be the market manufacturing PMI. So there is this event affecting the New Zealand dollar, which is the GDT price index. It is the global dairy trade. Yeah, so this one here, it has no time code. So it could be happening anytime, but then it is also a very low impact event, as much as this like this red book index affecting the US dollar at 455. Very low impact event. There is no consensus, just a previous figure. Yeah, so these ones could be supporting. They could be supporting events for all these other currency pairs that have these major events. Okay, so at 5:30, affecting the Canadian dollar, the market manufacturing PMI, previous figure is 56.2. The consensus is 56.4. Yeah, so for this one here, any figure above 50 is very good for Canada. So at after this GDP at 6:30, 1 hour later, 7:30, you'll have market impact from there. It could push the prices further following this previous event. Okay, then at 5:45, affecting the US dollar, the market manufacturing PMI, medium impact event, same impact as the other one. If a figure is above 50, it's good for the US dollar. So here we have 57.5 as the previous, and it's expected to remain the same. Yeah, then at 6 sharp, there are going to be 5 events affecting the US dollar. And it is ISM Manufacturing Employment Index, then the New Orders Index, then the PMI, and then the ISM Manufacturing Prices Paid. Yeah, the first one is the construction spending. This one is month over month, a very low impact event. But the rest of these, ISM is the Institute of Supply Management. Yeah, so that one, this one is a low, medium impact event. Previous figure is 54.5, and expected figure is 54.4. A small reduction there. The very high impact event is the ISM Manufacturing PMI. Yeah, so that one there is the previous figure is 57.6. And the consensus is 58. Yeah, so that one is, it's a bit positive for the US dollar. All these other events, the manufacturing prices paid, we have a reduction from 76.1 to 74.6. Yeah, so this one is negative. This one, the new orders is positive. We're 59.1, rising from 57.9. Yeah, but then the major event here, the main event, the ISM Manufacturing PMI, it has a positive consensus, a positive expectation. So the actual figures that come out, could support this positivity and push the price in that positive direction. But you just wait for it and see how you wait for the market reaction from that event. Then later on in the night at 9:30 p.m. East African time, there will be a speech from the Bank of England. Yeah, so this one here, this one will be at that time. This one here is not really, such events are never really programmed. They just show up as the days grow nearer. So there are 2 speeches, 30 minutes. In between these speeches, 30 minutes, one at 9:30, the other one at 10 p.m. Yeah, so this other one here is still from the Bank of England, from the Monetary Policy Committee. Yeah, so I think at about maybe 10:30, there will be some market impact that you can benefit from. Then tomorrow morning, before this program starts, at 3:30 a.m. GDP affecting the Australian dollar. Yeah, so if you trade in the night, this will be some good event to take advantage of. The GDP, gross domestic product, quarter over quarter, rising from negative 1.9% to 3%. This is very positive for the Australian dollar. Then year over year, there's a small reduction from 3.9% to 3.7%. There a very, very small reduction. Then a main event tomorrow at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. A speech from the President of the United States, Biden. So this one is a heavy event, given what is happening currently. America is against Russia, fighting Ukraine and all that. They are putting sanctions on Russia. So this speech is going to affect so many aspects of Europe and Britain and America and Russia. It's going to affect so many people in so many ways. Yeah, and yeah, it will be a good speech to actually watch. That will be at 5 a.m. of our time. You can count back 8 hours to know what the actual time it will be taking place in America. But such a speech, you can watch it on even our local channels. I think we shall have coverage for this speech. So yeah, it will have a very big impact on the Forex market, especially every chart that has the US dollar in it. Okay, so yeah, so now moving to this app, yeah, it's real analysis, yeah, the normal. I think I gave out this URL, so you can access it from anywhere. Yeah, so these ones are loading. These charts are going to be loading, but let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at these charts, especially the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. We did some analysis on it some time back, and the charts are still loaded inside. So you can see what we did before and what we can do right now. So for this chart, the euro versus the New Zealand dollar, we have a confirmed downward trend. Yeah, we can no longer wait for a bullish trend. Right now, it is it's not wise to wait for one right now. But we have a downward trend which is confirmed, and price is currently at the 61.8. Yeah, the previous point of resistance was at the 23.6 of another Fibonacci retracement level. But looking at where the chart stands right now, we're looking at how low it can go. Yeah? And right now it's at the 61.8 at an exact support level. Looking at the previous price movement, from the dates of 16th of December last year up to the 5th of January this year, there was very strong resistance where the price is right now, and it's a 61.8 level in the Fibonacci retracement from the bottom to the top. Yeah, so that's where we are with this one. If it breaks any further, the midpoint inside there will be where this area of resistance is, that previous area of resistance where price was resisted. That was on the 11th of November of last year. So that's where the resistance is, and yeah, that's where we, that's where we can put our take profits. That we don't really be too ambitious to go below there. The pips in between the 61.8 and that level are about 200 pips. So yeah, 200 pips in there on this 4-hour chart. So that's where we are headed. So this is euro versus the New Zealand dollar. Price is moving downwards. Most of the reason was because of that war in Ukraine. Euro USD, I've been talking about it. Yeah, this is what happened yesterday. Yeah, this was that sharp move over the weekend, and prices have been supported at this level. Yeah, that was the area between the 61.8 and the 100.0. Yeah, we've been looking at this for quite some time. So yeah, if price breaks below there, now we have a major support down here at this 100.0. If price really breaks below this line, this low level, then you can be sure of some downward movement for quite some time. Yeah, if this war continues moving the way that it is, but prices are currently in between there, and you can make your analysis, maybe scalping here, because these big time frames have really been messed up by the war. You can't really rely on so many strategies that we normally apply. So okay, that's for the euro USD. Let's look at the GBP USD as well. Yeah, sort of the same thing happening, but for this one here, it is in a really downward movement. And looking at where the prices are right now, this 23.6, I think, okay, it was a level drawn for this upward trend, but right now we can be very confident that we have a downward trend in this GBP USD. So we can look at how far this can actually go. So from the bottom to the top, we have that 100.0, and now we have the 161.8. These are levels we normally don't calculate, but areas which are below or above the 100.0, this is below when you're selling, and they're normally above when you're buying. So here we have the 100.0 line, it has really sold to the maximum, and in between the 100.0 and the 161.8, we have that medium point where price was perfectly supported. So there you can, and all this is fundamental, so you can't really claim that price is continuing to move upwards or downwards. This is entirely depending on how the world, these world leaders negotiate whatever is happening right now. So we just have to wait and see. But looking at this GBP USD, there is a very strong area of resistance there, which it has been resisting this price over and over again. It is a good area of an area of reference where you can pause right there if you're buying. You don't really move up there because the prices are really being resisted there. It is quite evident that buying above this point could be very risky for you. So that one there, you just just be aware of that. Looking at these other time frames, the daily chart, it's moving to one overbought position on the RSI. The 30-minute chart is already at that point of an overbought place. So it's very likely that price could easily move downwards. But if it breaks above there, then you can start buying. It's a major area of resistance. If price breaks above, then you can buy. Okay, so we're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to be looking at the technical analysis app. We're going to see what is selling, what is buying, and we're going to analyze some charts and see these charts are not affected by this war. We shall see how far they are buying and how far they are selling. We shall take a look at that after this break.